And of course, welcome back to the Lady Tracy Show. We are here once more. And today we're going over to Virginia again. We have with us beautiful Elena Neely, our publisher, the founder of Blessings for Living LLC. And of course, the beautiful author behind Blessings for Living, Planting Seeds of Greatness, Blessings for Living, The Best of Being, and Blessings for living. Always remember and never forget. And today, she has something new to tell us that there is more. So we want to introduce her once more to our show and, of course, to hear what's happening with her. And guess what else? She is coming to Italy with us
Yay.
in June to the phenomenal annual authors retreat. So there's so much to talk about. Welcome again, my friend Elena Neely. How are you doing today? Welcome back to the Lady Tracy Show.
Thank you, Lady Tracy. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here with you today. I know our time difference is crazy, but I think you're on the losing end this time at 12:30 in the morning.
You know what, girl? For me, each day, each time, it seems the same because I'm always working. But it's always a pleasure to have you this time
Thank you.
around. It's always that moment of welcoming and having you feeling like a family to us is most important. And we just want to welcome you back. But let us know what's been happening since we spoke last May, because it's almost a year, but what's been happening with you in Virginia since we spoke the last time?
Thank you so much. Well, one of the greatest things that's happened is that I have launched a new book, and I'm not wearing red for any occasion. I'm wearing
Ooh,
red because the title of my new book is Mr. Red Carpet from
mhm.
Harlem to Hollywood. And
Ooh, we
it's a
will get
unique
there.
story. Yeah, it's a unique
We,
story, but I did that, and I also signed up to come to be at the authors retreat in Italy, which
mhm.
for me is fabulous. And finally, I'm heading tomorrow to Ghana, and I
Ooh.
will have the opportunity to meet up with at least 100 youth, as well as speak at a university on critical thinking related
Ooh.
to creativity and imagination when it comes to creating books.
I know that it's going on crazy over there for you, and I am not surprised because the last time we spoke, you were already on this book, and I am just excited that we will be one of the first this year to have a
Yes.
hold on it. So tell us about our awesome Mr. Red Carpet, Elena, because we remember that this was a tribute to your late husband, Tony Neely. And of course, he was the vision behind the red carpet, being the constructor of Hollywood's red carpet, literally that one, doing their interior design and all of that wonderful stuff for how many years? 22 years?
Yeah, for 22 consecutive years,
Oh
Tony
my
was the face
goodness.
of the arrivals for
Mhm.
the biggest show in movies, which is the
Mhm.
award show, the Academy Awards, also known as the Oscars.
That was a fame to take down with, and I think that you would be honored to hear what's happening today in his life. So let's get into the book because we know that it's a tribute, but what else is the vision behind this book? Why did you really
Sure.
publish it? And of course, what do you expect our readers to take away from Mr. Red Carpet?
Yeah, in the introduction, there is one sentence that sums up the book. It says, let this book be a reminder that greatness isn't just about standing in the light. Sometimes it's about being the reason the light shines at all.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
many of our youth want to be influencers. They want to be out front. They want to, be on stage. And the fact is, for everyone that you see, there's a team behind
Mm-hmm.
them, helping them to shine. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what Tony was. Tony was always behind the scenes. He was a stage manager on Broadway. That's where the Harlem part comes in. And
Mm-hmm.
then when he went to ABC and Hollywood, he was behind the scenes as a production manager, making
Mm-hmm.
things happen. So I really want youth to walk away. And by the way, the book is targeted to about age 8 to 18. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really, though, a wonderful book about the story of someone who became this massive, giant legend in Hollywood just because he was so good at what he did. And it was all started with curiosity. He was just
Wow.
curious about how
Wow.
things happened, how things were made, how things became. When a show comes on, how did it get there? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what he was excited about. So he always wanted to do a book that said from Harlem to Hollywood. But when I got the opportunity and honor to be able to write his book, because unfortunately he passed in
Mm-hmm.
2009, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to add Mr. Red Carpet because he was synonymous with the red carpet in Hollywood.
Wow, this is a beautiful story. Now tell me, Elena, from a personal place, what has this been like for you to know that you were able to witness all of this from Tony, seeing his determination, seeing his compassion towards his job, for you today as a book author and a publisher, and of course, a voice when it comes to not giving up. What was this like for you, and how do you see this impacting your life today? Even though he's gone, you can still allow maybe a few takeaway from this in your personal life today.
Well, thank you for asking. Um, it took me a long time to come up with what would I say? Because he was already during the Academy Awards when I met him. And we were
Mhm,
married 20 years, but as you can see, I was with him a good percentage of those years and got a chance to attend the Academy Awards as well, many times. But I think for me, it was about he was a hidden figure. He was someone that a lot of people wouldn't know about. But those who were in Hollywood knew him. In fact, when he passed, he was in the Daily Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, which were the biggest shows. Not only that, the Kodak Theater, which is now the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, he helped to design how the Academy Awards would handle its arrivals area there. In fact, I actually have blueprints to what the design is that's being used today in
mhm,
Hollywood. So he
mhm,
was very instrumental, but I think that not only is it something that youth would want to hear, which is my specialty, how can I write it? That's how the groundbreaking happened for me when I realized I could tell the story
mhm,
to help those that are looking to what am I going to do in my life. You
mhm,
can literally do things that doesn't always have to have you out front, but you can be a strong support to someone else. So in Blessings for Living, it's all about sharing life lessons so
mhm,
that you can be a blessing to someone else. So I found a lesson in this story of Mr. Red Carpet. And how it changes me is that I have to tell you, I am overwhelmingly proud that I accomplished to be able to tell the story for him from
Thank you
Harlem to
so
Hollywood. But I think that it is an ongoing journey in the
mhm,
Blessings for Living story, how
mhm,
one can create books that are very helpful to youth. Because
mhm,
as you know, our youth are under attack by a lot of things that are distracting. And the
yeah,
more we can get focused material that help to uplift them, to enrich them, and also to entertain. That would be what's needed and what I'm trying to do.
This is beautiful, Elena. Thank you so much. You know, you said something very profound that not everyone wants to serve from the back and not being in the spotlight. And this was his life because when you turn the TV on, when you turn that MTV, that BET, all those amazing platforms on, you are seeing the stars. You're seeing the actors, you're seeing, you know, the lovely dress, the lovely
Mhm.
shoe, and whatever they has to show us, the awards, all the shiny stuff. But each time you see them, they are on a carpet. That's the most takeaway. But the carpet that they are on was
Yes.
literally constructed by a humble person who decided, you know what? It has to clean, it has to wash, it has to trim, it has to install correctly, and of course,
Mhm.
um, so it doesn't make the picture go blurry or unattractive,
Yeah.
right?
And you
Now,
know what? No, I was just going to say he was in charge of the whole arrivals area. The red carpet is the biggest part of the arrivals area, but
right.
in the bleachers where you saw people who would cheer on those people, the reporters and all the entertainment personalities that stand on the red carpet, all of that was his responsibility. All the design, he worked with an art director who said, this has to happen, this has to happen. He literally lived on that job. It was a 4 month job for him, but he lived it for 30 days leading up to it because it was that important. And and there were years when it was almost raining and he had to plan for that. And it was just an overarching job, but he was the man on the red carpet and everybody knew it.
Exactly. And what I wanted to add was that it's not a place everyone wants to be behind the scene,
Yes.
doing the work for the front page. And this also caused me to think about the body of Christ when it comes to servitude, and, you know, you being at the back of the line so that the pastor can minister well, the service can go well, but they are intercessors, they're ushers, they are the cleaning lady, you have those that in the administration, they're not on the front. At least if they are even at the front, it's just for service, you know. But what do you think this lesson, how can you say this lesson can impact the body of Christ today? Because the Bible tells you that in order for you to lead, you have to first be a servant. And I saw where Tony was a leader in what he did. But for you as a child of God today, how can you say this specific aspect of his life was able to impact you as a servant in the body of Christ? And of course, for those who are listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's an excellent question because I thought that was a wonderful revelation that you had that it is definitely the behind the scenes is in
Mhm,
line with it, but
mhm,
it goes back to, I think, purpose. I
mhm,
think it's purpose because I think that everybody is not purposed to do the same thing in the body of Christ.
mhm,
And we have different roles that we're going to play. And
mhm,
I have a heart for youth,
mhm,
so I have that opportunity to help there. And I
mhm,
think that it's just important for you to get silent if you don't know your purpose,
mhm,
to be able to seek the Lord so that He can reveal it to you. so that you can walk in that purpose.
Mhm.
Because even if you do know your purpose, it's critical that, again, you take time to understand what the Lord wants you to do with it. And I
Exactly.
think that when you get silent and you listen, direction comes.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
creativity comes, and then you
Mhm.
know what to do more with that.
Mhm.
Tony didn't, I don't think, set out to work for the Academy Awards, but that curiosity kept
Mhm.
leading him. And then once he realized it was his job to really do this behind the scenes, that God
Mhm.
gave him gifts to be really good at it, I think he then just jumped at it and just did it. So I think if there's a lesson in it, it's really to understand what your purpose is. And
Mhm.
when you're in the body of Christ, there is always a purpose for you.
Mhm.
Find that purpose, seek the Lord in what you should be doing,
Mhm.
and then excel in it.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Elena. I love that so much. I love that. Now tell us if persons would like to get Mr. Red Carpet, what's the cost for it and where can they go to get this beautiful book?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. The grand place to go get it is my website, which is blessingsforliving.com. But you can find my books in Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and different places. My thing is just search Mr. Red Carpet and it'll already come up for you. But
Amazing.
definitely appreciate that opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. All right, now let's get to what's coming next because you will be here in less than 3 months or so.
Yes.
We will have you as a panelist on our annual authors retreat workshop. And of course, you will be one of our speakers that will share on empowerment. And of course, we want to know what to expect from you because I know that our Italian community they're all curious. They're just wondering, they're waiting, they're anticipating about this new face that will be embracing us in Naples, Italy in June. So, what should we expect from you this year for our annual authors retreat?
Well, thank you very much. I plan to tell the story of Blessings for Living and how it came to be. And the fact of the matter is, I'm 10 beautiful books in to this, and I started during COVID in 2020, fulfilling a dream I had always had to actually write for youth and to see how it's evolved and really be able to say how I saw the Lord working and I continue to see him working in this purpose. It is his purpose, and I'm just blessed that he gave it to me. And I would just like to share some of the revelations that I've come out of it and how God is being glorified in it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you. And we cannot wait because we know that there's so much in store for us here in Italy. So thank you so much, Elena. One last thing before you go, because I know we've been here for a while. Who can you acknowledge or, say some thank yous to for being with you on the journey thus far?
Well, honestly, I have a ton of people because we just had this whole conversation about people in the background, you know. But the fact of the matter is, the illustrator, Zuri Book Pros, who was also the illustrator for a girl named Amaya. She reached inside herself and found her strength. Excellent, excellent work. And just to be able to capture the red carpet, who Tony was as he grew up, and then to be able to bring that excitement into this book. And let me just add, there are beautiful artifacts in the back of who Mr. Real Red Carpet is, what he looked like, what some of the awards he had, what are the press, things. There's real artifacts in the back of the book to show that he was a real person. So I'd have to say my illustrator, Zuri Book Pros.
I have a question. Do you plan to do a movie with this book? Because I think it deserves one.
You know what? I think it does too. And I know some people in Hollywood.
There you go. Don't just let it be that book, but let it come to life for us. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Elena. I know there's much more in store. I just don't want to get too deep in it to spoil the
Yes.
secret, but I
Thank
do
you.
know there's much more to come, and we look forward to it. Just keep us in the loop. So there you have it, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Elena Neely, our publisher, our founder of Blessings for Living LLC over there in Virginia. She was here with us today to let you know she will be with us in Italy.
Yay.
And of course,
Thank
just look
you.
out for her book, Mr. Red Carpet, and all the other beautiful collections that she has on her website. You can find her on blessingsforliving.com. Let me get that right. Yes, you can find her on Blessings, www.blessonsforliving.com. And you'll see all her lovely work. Thank you, Ellen. I have a beautiful one, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing more in the near few weeks
Thank
to
you, Lady
come.
Tracy.
All right.